What's up, everybody? This is Broskadamus, and we are back with Final Fantasy Tactics Advance X. This is the real episode I wanted to upload when I had those two episodes the other day. This one is the actual full-length one, I suppose you could say, whereas the other one was kind of a preview. So we're starting out by taking a look at a dispatch mission here that requires me to eliminate 3 enemies, so we won't be getting this unit back until we eliminate 3 enemies in a mission. So we want to pick somebody we're not going to bring on the immediate mission that we're going to be going on in this episode, which is the Cheetahs. So as we try to pick who I'm going to send for this mission that I'm not going to immediately need, I don't know if you can hear that clicking in the background. That is the rabbit drinking. I don't know if you can hear it, hopefully not. So as we double check and see what we're getting from this, we're going to be doing the mission Cheetahs. And I'm going to come out and say it right now, I'm fairly rusty because of how long I've had to take that break as I adjusted to the new job. Rusty, but not completely out of it. I do make some rusty mistakes, but I also make some tired mistakes because I recorded this at the same time I recorded the last one, which was very late at night. I don't remember exactly what time, but it was in the AM, and I was tired. It was probably following work, so you can imagine how tired I was. So as I double check the clan menu here to make sure that my dispatch was correct, because again, I'm tired and not paying enough attention. Don't play like me. I'm trying to figure out if we had selected the right one, and that we have, and this one is a day mission, which requires us to wander around until we get that unit back, which is exactly what we're going to start doing. I want that medallion to be able to use to go on further dispatch missions. So I decide we might as well just get it out of the way before we go into the next mission. And after that next mission, we will finish the next dispatch because it requires us to kill 3 enemies. And here is our first clan pop-up invasion. So I choose to avoid it for now. In the future I might go for some of these, and I'm glad I clicked to go away. And here it is. We have the Ancient Metal. So now we can go on even more dispatch missions. And we do get another unit, which is the Animist. And I do need to go look up and see what it requires to use some of the new classes or jobs in this mod. So I need to go back and figure out which ones require which before I start getting rid of anybody. This is why I've held on to everybody I've got, because maybe they're better as the default unit than what I have right now trying to build the new unit. So as we outfit, I may play some of the random pop-up clans that come up, but I'm not sure if I'm going to record that or if I'll just use it for off-screen grinding to get into the new jobs. I'm not entirely sure how I want to go about that. Of course, you can let me know if you just wanted to see everything, then I will happily upload everything. But if you guys don't want to and you'd rather just see the main missions and not all the side, I guess you can't really call it filler because it's content, not necessarily filler. But if you guys want to see it, I'll show it. If you don't want to see it, I'll just skip it. I may skip it by default, so say something if you'd like to see it. Maybe I'll upload certain ones if they're good, but we'll see. So here we are in Cheetahs. And it's Ritz. Ritz and her friend Shara. Now as they shout across the river at each other, we're going to be making our way into the field, hauling ass. Now, one big problem that we're going to face on this mission is the fact that we have 2 friendly NPCs, meaning we get to bring less of our own units onto the field. Which I come to realize in a moment. It hadn't dawned on me when I first started. And our Forbidden is confused. We don't have any of that, so we don't really have to worry. I did take a moment because I thought, wait a minute, do I have a confuse? And I had to think about it. Too many other games at the moment. They're starting to mesh together. So as always, I choose to bring Darcy, our white mage, because I don't go anywhere without a white mage. And now there'll be this one time that I don't bring the white mage later on down the road, and everybody will say, wait a minute, you said you don't go anywhere without a white mage, what are you doing? So that'll bite me in the ass for saying that later. I opt to bring pure damage because I don't trust our friendly NPCs to not break my sleeps or to get away from the units that I've locked down with aim leg. With hindsight, bringing the archer may not have been a bad idea. However, you'll quickly find that at least 3 of these units have viable ranged attack abilities that do a lot of damage. So locking them down with just aim leg will create a situation where they'll just attack from range. And it can definitely be a problem. Yuane here is one of them, which he's technically, I guess, the 4th one. He scares me a lot less at range, though he's still capable of dealing damage, as you can see there. But the hunter, the fighter, and their dark mage, black mage, idiot, black mage, this Final Fantasy nomenclature just always sets me off. I don't know, I always call it something close, but it's not right. Anyway, the hunter and the fighter and the black mage are the scariest ranged attackers. But just having that thief there able to attack at range is scary enough. And having a white monk can potentially have air render or what have you, but he chooses to attack in melee here, suffering the reflex that Ritz has. That reflex will be a godsend later on. Now, our starting position is poor. We have to work our way up the map to become useful. So where I would normally be able to engage right away, I'm not able to. I have to work my way to the river, and in Marsh's case, cross it. And there it is. So here's where I found out that we had a lot of ranged attackers, and I didn't feel too bad about not bringing aim leg. However, you might be able to get away with bringing a unit that can sheep count, but I'm not entirely confident that my friendly units wouldn't break it or interfere with it. Now, we'll notice that a serious problem is engaging their ranged units across this river. It didn't look like anything too daunting right away, but it becomes a serious problem when you can't position properly because one of your friendly NPCs messes up, which is going to happen fairly soon, within the next turn or so. Friendly turn, of course. Now, the black mage does a lot of damage, and it makes me nervous. And my initial target was the black mage, to try to eliminate him. And here is a tired mistake for those of you that probably will realize it. The not reading the tooltip of the ability. Right there. Thundara hits a single target. The other 3 spells will hit AoE and would have given me a chance to strike at that hunter. But because I didn't read the tooltip, because of whether I was tired or if I got lazy, I don't remember at this point, I did not check it. You should always check the tooltips. And because Ritz decided it was very important to talk to us, she was facing the wrong way. It's really not the time. As you can see, Shara lined up a great place for a sonic boom by, for some reason, moving herself vulnerably into the river. And I'm just glad it missed Marsh. But because of that, she didn't retreat, didn't take an action, and just got herself killed and allowed my units to be injured in an AoE. So that hurts. And counter goes through reflex. Now we're man down, or woman down, and we need to figure out what we're going to do. And there's Earthrender. He is not the most threatening ranged character at this point because he never really gets to contact anything real threatening on my units before he has to be used for something else. But every other unit is able to attack at range, so this creates a problem crossing the river. It's like crossing the river under fire. I choose to go after the monk because I feel he's incredibly fast, and he's also within my range, and I'd wish him to slow down. So we get a speed break off on the monk, and I should have checked the abilities of the enemy team better. But to be completely honest, I'm still afraid of crashing the game, like a few missions ago. I am now over it, but you should always check the abilities, because I don't realize that the monk has a very useful ability, and it comes at a surprise. Now here's me making the mistake of Thundara again, trying to AoE with it, and being frustrated and thinking it's the river. Cursing at the river a little while, and trying to figure out what else I can do. So instead of actually figuring out what it was, I go for a single target attack on the fighter with Thundara, which ends up missing. So we're not in a good situation. We're definitely backpedaling here. We need to regain our footing and push up, because we really need to get across this river because they're picking us apart. We don't have a lot of range, and if I lose Diesel, we're going to be in some shit. The Black Mage getting another turn here is bad. Any more hits like that and Marsh is going to go down. Just in time for the Hunter to get a turn. And puts Diesel in some trouble. Now we're in sandbag territory. We need to recover, but to do so we need to start reviving. But when we're reviving, we're not damaging the enemy. Ritz has the right idea. Go for that motherfucker, because he's going to start picking us apart. So now I'll use my healer, because he's not going to be doing anything other than healing right this moment anyway, to start picking up our units and trying to recover. So as we sandbag, we need to start getting some momentum. So as we check our movement here, Monty's going to get a turn, and there's nothing I can do about it. Monty is their fighter. But Yuane's coming up, and I think I might be able to interrupt a little bit of their momentum. But he has to go down. So I take the chance of putting Marsh in a bad position behind enemy lines to take him down. He does have counter, and I don't want to risk missing because counter might spell death for Marsh. So I go for the combo to be sure. I need to land this damage, and I can't take any chances. So, we bring him down. Now, we're feeling a little bit better, but we still have a lot of problems. We're still on the low end of health and momentum. And we did get a lucky miss there. Diesel still lives, and he's able to get his turn. And here's where I realize that I haven't been reading Thundara correctly. It's targeting a single unit. So at this point, I finally choose to check it. Like the idiot I am. I should have checked it before. So now, trying to decide what to do, if I should use Diesel's turn instead of attacking units facing forward, to revive Shara in hopes of regaining momentum, or to spend that time attacking the enemy units with a base elemental spell. They are facing me, and the chance to hit is not good. Killing a single target here would be excellent, but I don't think I have enough damage to do so. Nope, 52 damage out of 55, and only a 39% chance to hit. I'm not willing to take the chance, so instead I choose to use this turn to revive Shara in an attempt to regain momentum on future turns. Shara is a fairly fast character, so I'm hoping that she can survive to her turn. And here is that useful ability I mentioned earlier. Completely unaware that he had it. Had I known, it wouldn't really have changed my action. We really needed to bring down that thief. We needed to beat someone. Someone needed to go down. So my choice would have been the same, to bring him down, and he does kill Diesel, damn it. But he does use his turn reviving the thief rather than taking an action, which does benefit Shara. However, suddenly that benefit is thrown out the window. Now Ritz is able to get her turn, and she picks an excellent target. And I am very proud of her. That was the best target to pick, and she picked it. Now we don't have to worry about the AoE death from afar, and it's one unit down. We're trying to shift momentum still by reviving Shara. Shara will be more useful than Diesel at this point, because our friendly units are globbed up with all of the enemy units, making AoE a lot harder to do. So again, Yuan here is going to get another turn, and I cannot have that. So I choose to, again, combo him to make sure he dies. Because I got a turn before he could take an action and bring him back down, that revive was relatively inconsequential. Now, that monk is still a problem with being able to revive. However, I am glad that he's over there and not near his friendly unit, so he does have to move to revive them. And for the first time, I think, ever in the series, the judge actually moved a unit out of the way to the benefit of my units, rather than moving him in the way of my units or away from me when I try to revive. And that crit is going to herald in an age of crits for the enemy. Now Shara is able to take some actions finally, and our momentum is shifted. We only have one man down, and they have two. And I'm not entirely sure that Ritz using a Mana Strike is necessarily useful, but for the next turn or two, he won't be able to use any AoE spells, and he'll just take shots. Now, Darcy's in some trouble. He's on the wrong side of the river, so he's going to need to figure out what to do. So as a defensive action, I choose to heal Shara and himself, and face him the best way possible to take an attack from their fighter, who is going to go after him. But we do have some combo left, and we can easily bring down this unit. That's where the speed break came in and allowed me to get another turn on him before he could act. Now we're in much better shape. The momentum shifted to us. There's only two of them left. Now he is going after Darcy, though. God damn it. There is no living through that. No preparation can save you from that. Not as a white mage, at least. So our healer is out of action. I am pleased with him targeting a unit that can block ranged attacks, though. Now, I'm glad Shara chooses to attack this fighter here, but she does miss. Ritz, on the other hand, chasing the hunter, I'm not entirely sure I like that idea. I would much rather she help kill the fighter, but the upside being she is forcing that hunter away from the main fight and forcing the hunter to deal with her or move toward my units instead of being able to get comfortable. Now I am going to have to fight this fighter here, so I want to move as close as possible and prepare for the fight, hopefully drawing him to me and away from the ranged characters and Ritz. Ranged characters, I guess, being just Shara. Why would it be plural? But I also position myself there to be able to revive Diesel if he does move away. But as you can see, the judge decided that he wanted to move Diesel away, so I had to move again. But that's okay, because Shara moved into a position that would allow me to catch up with the fighter, even if he does choose to go after Shara. And Reflex does work against ranged attacks. So instead, he lines up for an attack on both of them with Farfist, only hitting one, luckily the one that I healed, but leaving himself close enough for me to reach with Marsh. And, for whatever reason, whether it's retaliation, Ritz decides to come back and lay into the fighter. And they decide to switch places so Shara can go after the hunter. Again, not really that predictable with the allied AI there. Not entirely sure what they're going to be doing, but they usually go for the most hurt unit. But at the same time, I don't know why Shara chose to go after the other one. There's probably more algorithms there than I let on to know, of course. But it does put him in kill range, and we're able to bring him down with Marsh. At this point, I should say, we only need to deal with the hunter, and the hunter is on the run. The fight can be pretty much left to Shara and Ritz at this point, but I'll continue to move Marsh in, and there's no reason to revive anybody else, unless something goes terribly, horrendously wrong, and that hunter just no-scopes everybody to death, and it's just over. At that point, I'm hanging it up, and I'm never making this series anymore. I'm going to stop doing YouTube, and I'm probably just going to go walk into traffic for allowing that to happen. But, luckily, for the traffic, that doesn't happen. So, I move into range and decide to, for safety's sake, use a potion, as they are really low. I need to get higher tier potions now. It's time. And I didn't want to take any chances because I don't really want to go walk into traffic. And I decided to heal myself with even the low potion, leaving the killing blow to Ritz. And we are victorious. And with that, that'll wrap it all up and move us to the next video. But I would like to say thanks again for watching, everybody. And thanks for sticking around. These videos will start coming sooner and more regularly. Of course, unless my internet decides that these aren't that important or YouTube decides they don't want to upload them. With everything being said, I really do appreciate everybody sticking around while I was trying to adjust to everything, and I'm going to start putting these out regularly and working on other things as we go. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying them, and I really hope you are enjoying them and you'll continue to enjoy them. And I look forward to continuing and finishing this series and then moving on to other things. So again, thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Enjoy the outro. Crescendo. Okay, bye for real.